The desert night was silent, too silent. I kept my eyes on the horizon, scanning through the scope. My breathing was steady, my hands were steady, my mind wasn't. It happened so fast. 1 second, my best friend, Staff Sergeant Cole, was crouched beside me, checking his gear. The next, his wallet slipped from his vest, hit the sand, and cracked open like a bad omen. A photo fluttered out. I didn't need light to recognize it. It was my wife, her wedding dress. The same faint lipstick smudge on her cheek from the day we said I do. But it wasn't the picture that made my hands go cold. It was the grin he gave me, slow, knowing. "You always thought you were better than me," he whispered, almost like it was a joke between old friends. Then he leaned in. "But you're the one who lost. Your daughter isn't even yours, loser." The words didn't echo, they just sank, heavy, final. I didn't say a thing, didn't flinch. I only let my eyes drift to the Magnum in my hand. And in that moment, I already knew how this mission would end. The hours after that moment were slow and deliberate. We still had a target to watch, a mission to complete. On the surface, nothing changed. But inside, I was replaying every moment of the last 6 years. The way my wife hesitated when I mentioned Cole's name. The way my daughter's eyes, green, not brown, never quite matched mine. The sudden girls' nights when I was on deployment. I'd brushed them off, chosen trust over suspicion, chosen the easier lie. Now, Cole had ripped the bandage off in one clean surgical cut. The part that burned wasn't the betrayal itself. It was the arrogance in his face. Like he'd been waiting for this moment. Like he'd been keeping score. I said nothing. He thought I was in shock. In truth, I was already calculating. The mission gave me cover. Our radios were quiet. Our breathing was the only sound between us. I began testing him, asking questions I already knew the answers to. "When was the last time you saw Emily?" "Couple months ago," he said without hesitation. "Dropped by to check in." Dropped by. My wife had told me she was visiting her mother that weekend. I didn't react, just nodded. Later, while he took first watch, I slipped his wallet from his pack again. Inside, there wasn't just the wedding photo. There was a picture of my daughter, creased, worn at the edges, like he carried it everywhere. When we made camp, I sent a short, coded message through the satellite uplink. Not to command, to a friend back home, a police tech. The request was simple, a rush DNA comparison between my blood on file and a strand of my daughter's hair I'd sent months earlier as a keepsake. Back then, it was innocent. Now, it was evidence. 2 days later, the result came back through encrypted text. 0% match. No hesitation, no doubt. I stared at that line until the desert sun dipped behind the dunes. When Cole noticed the change in my expression, he smirked. "You look like you've seen a ghost." I met his eyes. Calm. "I have." He didn't know whether I meant the target we were hunting, or him. And I didn't clarify. I just handed him my canteen and watched him drink. His confidence was a sickness. He thought he'd won something, taken something from me. But he hadn't yet understood what it meant to lose everything. That night, we breached the compound. Gunfire, shadows, and dust. The target was taken down. But Cole caught a round in the leg. We dragged ourselves behind cover. He was bleeding, but not fatally. His breathing was ragged. I sat beside him. The firefight outside faded into a distant hum. I set my Magnum across my knees. "I'll tell command you didn't make it back," I said quietly. "You'll get the Medal of Honor, posthumously." His face shifted from confusion to fear. "You're not serious?" I leaned in, close enough for him to smell the sweat and gunpowder on me. "You took my life and called it friendship. You planted your legacy in my home. You laughed about it. You don't walk away from that." He tried to speak. I didn't let him. The Magnum's muzzle found his groin. His eyes went wide. "This is the part," I said, where you learn what losing feels like. The trigger broke the silence. His scream tore it open. The mission report said Cole died in action. His body was sent home draped in a flag. His widow, my wife, cried for him in front of cameras. I didn't go to the funeral. I didn't speak to her again. Papers would arrive eventually. The house, the marriage, the years, they were gone. But so was the part of me that cared. Sometimes, late at night, I think about the grin he wore in that desert. And I remember how it vanished, how quiet he became when he finally understood. People talk about closure like it's some peaceful thing. It's not. It's just the moment you decide the past can't touch you anymore. And that night in the desert, I buried more than a man. I buried the last piece of myself that believed in loyalty.